Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. There are a ton of Black Friday sales going on right now, but in this video I'm going to show you 5 that I recommend and use. The first one is Crocoblock, and I'm a huge fan of Jet Engine. Jet Engine is the Crocoblock plugin for creating custom post types and custom fields. It has a ton of other features. We'll look at some of the features really quickly, but here on the website you see that the full Crocoblock suite has 21 plugins, 200 widgets, more than 200 pre-designed templates. Okay, if we go look at the pricing, it's 40% off. So it's usually $1,000 down to $600 or $750 down to $450. Remember, ACF doesn't have a lifetime option, and the MetaBox lifetime plan is $699, and unfortunately they're not having a sale on the lifetime packages. So here's a list of all the plugins that there are. Now, Crocoblock began as Elementor, but a number of years ago they started adding Gutenberg support in some of the plugins. And then a couple of years ago they started adding Bricks support. So it's nice to see that they're updating and staying current and following the trends. Although these are subscription packages, I wanted to show you something. If you hover over the eye here, it lists the plugins that are compatible with Elementor, are compatible with Bricks, or compatible with Gutenberg. If I go to WebTNG, here is Crocoblock, here is Jet Engine. If we look over on the dynamic WordPress website, here is Crocoblock Jet Engine. I'm using it also on another site. Here is where you create your custom post types, your custom fields, your taxonomies, relationships, option pages. There's a query builder, which is nice if you need custom queries. The nice thing about custom queries is you only bring back the data you need, so your pages can be more performant than trying to filter it on the front end. This is the dashboard that has kind of a huge toolbox of features that go beyond anything that the other dynamic data plugins offer. So, like, for example, I know the profile builder is very popular. The dynamic visibility options are very sophisticated and nice. There's some performance options. Skim Manager. You can create shortcodes here, create macros here, glossaries, okay, advanced. So a lot going on there. A couple of things real quick that I can show you is if we go into a Gutenberg post, okay, this is a regular core paragraph block, but Crocoblock adds to it the dynamic data options. That's really nice if you're working with Gutenberg. If we go to Bricks template, here, for example, is a promotional message which has a display condition. You know, this is Bricks stuff, but if we look at the dynamic data options, there's post, author, site, archive terms, date, query, query filters, miscellaneous, user profile, advanced, Jet Engine dynamic data. So huge range of options there for dynamic data. And so I'm a big fan of Crocoblock, and I use it on some of my websites. The next Black Friday deal we're going to look at is Greenshift and Greenlight. What is Greenshift and Greenlight? They are Gutenberg block collections. Greenshift came first. Okay, and the way Greenshift works is you have a free plugin in the WordPress plugin directory, and then there are these premium add-ons like for SEO, query, chart, animation, WooCommerce, other helpers and converters and things there. Each of these plugins has a number of blocks included in them. So if we look at the lifetime prices, we have 5 sites for $219, 15 for $299, or unlimited for $399.99. But when we apply the Black Friday coupon, which I'll put in the video description, let's see what it takes the price down to. From $399.99 to $231.99, okay, 42% off. This is pretty inexpensive. Now, one other thing about this all-in-one package is that during Black Friday, it's going to also include the Greenlight plugin. Maybe after Black Friday, it will be included also. I don't know what the plans are there. Okay, this is Greenshift. Now I'm going to go into a website in a minute and we'll look at it that way. But before we do, here's the Greenlight landing page. And this came about because the developer listened to user feedback. Users wanted to use like CSS variables, CSS frameworks, and classes. They also wanted to output just very straight HTML, CSS, no extra bloat. And so the Greenlight blocks are element blocks. They're like there's an H1 block, you add that, it just outputs an H1. Okay, you add a button block, it just outputs a button, and so on. Very lightweight, very performant, and people who want an advanced workflow like the Greenlight plugin. Now, while Greenshift requires a free version and then you add on the premium plugins you want, Greenlight doesn't require a free version. But of course, you don't have all the extra blocks that you have in the Greenshift add-ons. Okay, so if you want to buy it separately, that's something to keep in mind. Here it's $99 for 2 sites for Greenlight Pro. 5 sites, $199. Unlimited sites, $299. Let's see what it is with our coupon. We'll take this off. And so the coupon takes it down to $173.99. I think, for what you're getting, very good value here. Okay, let's go to a website where I have Greenshift installed. I've got the Greenlight block theme here and the Greenshift plugins. I'll show you in a minute. But what I wanted to show you is you can create like a style book, and it shows you these are the default CSS variables for these different colors. These are the variables and how they're calculated for typography, and for spacing and sizing and border radius and shadows and transitions and extras. Okay, so pretty cool there. If we go and let's go to the dashboard, let's look at the plugins. Like I said, I've got the free Greenshift and then the Greenshift Query add-on, which is a premium add-on. Let's go to the admin page here. Here, note that I've chosen to use professional blocks. These that are Greenlight elements. So these blocks are included in the regular Greenshift, and just kind of by popular demand, there is a standalone plugin that has those. It doesn't have all the other stuff. So I think advanced users will like Greenlight elements. Ordinary users and beginners and things like that, they're probably going to want the Greenshift blocks because they're more traditional blocks. Then if we go down some of the options here, you can manually add your own colors and gradients. You can add your own CSS variables. You can import them. Same with classes. Okay, global styles. This is where you add your logo and fave icon and stuff like that. If you don't want to go with that one, what I showed you is what comes with the Greenlight theme. All right, then here are global settings, and you have options here that you can set. I wanted to show you here you can use the core framework, CSS framework, with Greenshift. That's free for Gutenberg, so it doesn't cost anything. It's the plugins in the WordPress plugin directory. You can manage blocks, turn them on and off. This is those add-ons, premium plugins, your license manager, import, export, demo site import. That's the Greenshift admin menus. Another thing that I wanted to show you is if we go into the site editor, here's that page. If we go into the site editor and we go to templates, I created a template for custom post type. I have team members. All right, so I wanted to show you this. This is the site editor. And, this is a custom field. The hire date is a custom field. This is a custom field. The team member's pet. Okay, they're showing in the site editor. You don't know how many Gutenberg block collections where the developer says, yes, it supports the site editor, but when you get there, you're lucky if it has placeholder data. Often you just kind of have a blank little area where the dynamic data is supposed to be. So I like this. I like that it shows you real data in the editor. This might be the first record or something. This is what it looks like on the home page. I'm using those Greenlight blocks, so let's just take a quick look at what we have here. Here's the H1. See, it's just the H1 with a class. Here's the paragraph CEO, the hire date. Here's the post content that we have. All right, and that's it. Okay, very clean. And if we are in the editor, another thing I can show you here is, here are the container blocks. Here are those element blocks, like H1 element, H2, a link element, a P element. All right, so when you use these, you're going to end up on the front end with your HTML element. Here's the styling for the Greenlight image element, right? You can enable dynamic data, whether it's from post, author, current user, taxonomy value, custom meta field, taxonomy, site data, repeater. Here I've chosen that. Okay, and down here, I want to show you that there are these style options here. This is typography, colors, spacing, border, shadow, size, CSS transitions, position, layout, effects, and responsive. Okay, all of the Greenlight blocks have the same set of style options. When you choose one, for example, here, if I wanted to change the text color, well, this is an image, but if I wanted to change the text color or background color, let's say, then these are the colors from that theme palette, okay, from that style book, from our framework. And if you're in some of the boxes here where you enter a value, see that little white dot here, a button? You can type in your CSS variables here. You can add new class here. This is Greenshift Greenlight. The next plugin with lifetime deal, wanted to show you, on sale for Black Friday, is WPvivid. It's 40% off. Okay, so here are the lifetime packages. 2 sites for $59.40. 10 sites for $83.40. 50 sites for $119.40. And unlimited sites for $179.40. Wow. You just think of the Sure products or the Fluent products, where the prices are getting up close to $1,000 or something. So I've been using this. I use the free version on my testing sites to make backups during testing. And I have WPvivid installed on my production sites. Let's go look here. WPvivid. A ton of pro features. This is a pro version. It supports a number of different cloud storage types, all right, for offsite backups. Supports incremental backup. You can set it up so it does a backup of the plugins and themes or core, whatever, that's before you do an update. So that's nice. I've used that on my main WP dashboard site to back that up before I do updates to it. This is the third plugin with a lifetime deal on sale this Black Friday. Now, the fourth one is independent analytics. I looked at this last year. The price was higher then, so I held back. But this year, as soon as the deal dropped for Black Friday, I bought it. Unlimited sites for $3.99. I tried and I wanted to use a newer analytics plugin where you're self-hosting your analytics. I haven't seen many updates to it, so I put that on the back burner. This is independent analytics in the WordPress admin. You see I have it on WebTNG. And like I said, I just installed it when the Black Friday sale started, so I don't have a lot of data here. But you can see we have site traffic, top 10 pages, geographic traffic, new and returning, site metrics, recent views, recent conversions, devices, top traffic scores, busiest time of day, busiest time of week. You can see real time if there are people on the site. So these are the different report types. All right, you can look by refer to see who's sending you traffic. This is search. This is social media. We have geographic. These are cities. By device, you can create campaigns. You can track clicks. Here's the campaign builder, the click tracking setup. Here are integrations. See, it has integrations with some e-commerce plugins, WooCommerce, Fluent Cart, SureCart, Easy Digital Downloads, Paid Membership Pro, and then a bunch of form plugins. Pretty excited about this one. Finally, the fifth item that's on sale for Black Friday that I use and recommend is xCloud. This is a control panel for virtual private servers. Now, years ago, I used shared hosting on SiteGround, and that was fine. But at some point, when they jacked up the price after renewal, I went over to Cloudways. What I noticed then was that there was a bump in performance. And then when I moved to using a VPS, there was likewise another bump in performance, and it was a lot cheaper than Cloudways. Well, what xCloud does is it's a control panel for you to manage your VPS, to manage your servers, and to set up sites, WordPress sites. This is the pricing. You can manage 5 servers for $3.99. I've got it up here. This is the server I have attached here with xCloud. Right, the sites. You can add a new site. I've got 5 sites here. Tells me what my disk usage is. You have management options, settings, database, cron jobs if you don't want to use the WordPress cron. Supervisor to track services, processes, PHP configuration, MySQL configuration, node configuration, create your user to run commands. Then there's monitoring and logs and events. There's firewall, and you can set up fail to ban. They have a deal with PatchStack for a couple a month, you can have some patch stack features. I own patch stack already, so I'm not using that. It's information about your server here. If we go and look at a site, this is, by the way, the one that my site that's using Greenshift. Here you manage the domain settings, your free SSL settings, and your redirections, your WordPress config, and you can do updates from here and set up server-side caching, scanning, vulnerability scanning, integrity monitor. They have a feature here where it's like $1 a month or something per user for transactional email box, if you want to use that, if you don't have something else. You can set up backups. They support a large number of storage providers. I have xCloud, for instance. You go into xCloud, you get your API keys and credentials, and then you come here and you set up a quote-unquote bucket. And once you do that, then you can schedule your backup and use that bucket, and you can use more than one. This doesn't cost anything. Of course, you're paying for your storage. Site monitoring, data access, you turn these on as you need them, and then some other tools. Okay, so this is xCloud. I've been very happy with it. I think it's a good Black Friday sale. So that's my look at 5 Black Friday deals that I use and recommend. I hope you found the video interesting and useful. Please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.